Hello everybody, Desmond2530 here. Today we'll be looking at the weapon known as the S200 MMG. The S2 200 MMG. So this is a very strange weapon. I'm just going to talk about that later, and strangely enough, it's actually a very good weapon in circumstances that are very strange for just the support class in general. But either way, aside from that, let's go over the stats. So this is a MMG, meaning that you cannot aim down sights with it. You must bipod or go prone in order to be able to aim down sights with it. And if you do aim down sights, it just tightens the hip fire. Either way. So the S2 fires the Mauser 7.92 by 57mm cartridge at a rate of fire of 770 RPM. And it has a damage of 25.1 up to around like 15-ish meters, and then it drops down to 15 damage at around 100 meters. So it's a 4 to, like, let me think, 15 gives you 30, 2, 4, 6, 7. So it's a 4 to a 7 shot kill, like most of them. It has a muzzle velocity of 780 meters per second, which is actually very fast. I believe that's the fastest among MMGs. Just make sure I'm correct. Oh, sorry. It has 740 meters per second. Sorry, guys. The stat pages are massive, so I can't exactly see one by itself very well. It has a reload time of 2.1 seconds when the mag still has ammo left in it, and an empty reload of 2.65 seconds, which is fairly good for LMGs. So it has a recoil of 1.75 upwards and 0.2 to the left and right, perfectly. And for the upwards recoil, you get a 0.262 degrees subtraction over when you're holding down the trigger over time. As for that, can't find the base spread. So the ADS spread is 3 degrees, and the ADS spread while on the move is 4.5 degrees, and the hip spread is 12 degrees, or 12 degrees when moving. So simply put, this weapon is very strange, and I'll go over that in a second, or I'll finish going over it. So the main thing about this weapon is that it is a MMG with a 30 round mag, which seems kind of sad, honestly, but it makes sense considering the way that the weapon is actually usable. As for its trees, I will go on the left and right tree. Its left tree includes quick reload, swings and swivels, extended mag, swear to God, this stupid thing does not work well. Okay, quick reload, flash propellant, light bolt, incendiary bullets. And the right tree is recoil buffer, ported barrel, improved bipod, and high velocity bullets. My personal way to go with this weapon was recoil buffer, flash propellant, light bolt, and then high velocity rounds. Simply put, quick reload isn't that bad because you have a 2.1 second fast reload, which you can actually keep up very much of the time unless you're spraying into a wall like I am. The main reason why you grab flash propellant is just because then when you do aim down sights, it's just less muzzle flash, and you also get some you get a bit of a velocity boost. The light bolt increases this weapon's fire rate to 900 RPM from 770, meaning that it is even faster killing close range. And then you have the final upgrade, which is high velocity rounds. Simply put, you run these because at longer ranges, this weapon, whilst having a decent muzzle velocity, still does. There's still ways to make it better, and so at the range that, or at range, if you're bipoded, that just gives you more. It gives you an easier way to take out targets and less leading. Plus, in close range, also means that you're going to get your bullets to them faster than they will to you, most likely, since it already has a fast muzzle velocity. So, now that I'm done with the stats, now that I'm done messing up the stats constantly because I'm reading off of a freaking list. So yeah, so this weapon you cannot aim down sights with, and that is the main issue with all MMGs in Battlefield. But one thing about this is that this has one of the lowest, or I believe it may have the lowest, or sorry, the highest accuracy among all the MMGs when how to say, aiming without a bipod. Meaning that this weapon is actually the best MMG to be using while on the move. Now this is where this weapon becomes very, very unique and niche, which is very rare for the sport class, as many of their weapons are just recopies, or it's basically the same weapon with similar or very similar in their use to the point where it doesn't matter. This weapon is the equivalent to an SMG for the support class. Simply put, you have a weapon that is a 4-shot kill, which is actually better than a lot of SMGs, or at least better than the high-fire SMGs, which this weapon actually is meant to directly compete with. And it also has the ability to get up to 900 RPM, which is actually faster than most of the fast-firing SMGs, while it's doing more damage over range and in close range than them, meaning that this weapon will actually outshoot almost any weapon in the game. I mean, and you can see clips where I'm just spraying, and the only reason I'm dying is because I'm getting hit by multiple people. The main trade-off between this is those that you lack some of the range that SMGs do with this weapon. Simply put, you don't have a lot of accuracy, obviously, because you still can't aim down sights fully. But this weapon makes up for that in the fact that it just puts out so much DPS. So, on some ways, you can say this weapon is very hard to use, and in truth, it is. You have to know what ranges to fight in, you need to know when to shoot, and you need to make sure that you can control your recoil. But as you can see there, going up against a Type 2A that has been fully upgraded, normally would have killed 90% of people in the game. This weapon just dumpsters it. Overall, this is probably my favorite close quarters weapon for the sport class. With some changes, obviously. But the main thing about this weapon is a fast-firing, moderate damaging weapon that has a somewhat fast reload speed, and has the accuracy to put up with SMGs in their intended range. This weapon, simply put, while it's not useful as a LMG or as a MMG very much, it is by far the best close range weapon that support has, aside from their shotguns. But that has some issues. And yeah, overall, this is actually one of my favorite weapons for the support class. So while it serves a very niche role and can only be used on certain maps or with certain playstyles, overall I have to give this weapon my passing grade. As for, like I said, my recommended loadout, I've already said that earlier. Since you can't put a high magnification scope on this weapon, which I think is the one thing that they should have actually done, was make this the only MMG to be able to equip like a 3x optic. Since it has such a low mag and such high recoil for a MMG, even when bipoded, I think that would have been better. But it's whatever. Overall in star rating, I'll give this weapon a 4 out of 5 stars. Simply put, it is a niche weapon. It does so well in its category, and it even outbeats an entire class of weapons by itself, aside from very few. And overall, I think this weapon is definitely worth your time, though it will take a massive learning curve to know when to pick targets and when to shoot at them. Either way, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be probably making another one. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys all later.